Hello, welcome to the weekly highlights program on Azərbaycan Television with the major developments of the week. I'm your host, İlham Məmmədov. Now first, let's take a brief look at some of the top stories of this week. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham received Araz Ahmedov on his appointment as head of Masallı District Executive Authority, Akbar Abbasov on his appointment as head of Layiq District Executive Authority, and Elvin Pashayev on his appointment as head of Göygöl District Executive Authority. President İlham and First Lady Mehriban Aliyeva viewed conditions created at the maternity hospital number 2 in Bakıxanov settlement of Sabunçu district of Baku after major overhaul. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham received Araz Ahmedov on his appointment as head of Masallı District Executive Authority, Akbar Abbasov on his appointment as head of Layiq District Executive Authority, and Elvin Pashayev on his appointment as head of Göygöl District Executive Authority.
The head of state noted that, first of all, it is necessary to analyze the situation in the regions, identify and eliminate existing shortcomings, stressing that as a result of the implementation of the state programs for the socio-economic development of the regions in recent years, large-scale improvement work was carried out in the regions, large infrastructure projects were implemented, and most of the problems that troubled people for many years were eliminated. President İlham stated that the population of the country had grown, therefore job creation was of particular importance. Serious steps are taken to combat unemployment, said the head of state, and stressed that the creation of paid social jobs had gained wider scope and there was a quota for each district. Unfortunately, in some areas, people who should have been involved in these works are not involved, but on the contrary, the funds allocated for them were appropriated by the heads of the executive powers and other officials. Recalling that these people have been brought to criminal liability, the head of state said that this demonstrates that no one can be above the law. One of my instructions during the appointment of all heads of executive power is a merciless fight against corruption, bribery, and the heads of executive power should set an example in this matter, President İlham said, and stressed that unfortunately some of them went the wrong way and today are reaping bitter fruits, which should be a lesson for every government official. The head of state instructed the newly appointed heads of executive power to be in constant contact with people in all villages, live with their concerns and work to solve their problems. Be guided in their activities by the principle of social justice. Our policy is aimed at improving the well-being of the Azerbaijani people. Our policy strengthens the international authority of the country, and as a result of our policy, Azerbaijan put an end to the occupation policy of Armenia by military and then political means, liberated our ancestral lands, restored historical justice, returned our national pride. The head of state said and noted that special attention needs to be paid to the families of martyrs. The duty of every government official, and not only a government official, but every person, is to become a support for them. I will say again, the state and I, as president, are always interested in their problems. I solve them. I am always next to them. And every government official should do the same. President İlham emphasized and spoke about the steps taken by the state to address the social issues of this category of citizens. President İlham noted that the heads of executive powers themselves should take the initiative in connection with the development of the regions. They must attract local and foreign entrepreneurs to the regions. The head of state stressed that very rich tourism potential of Göygöl, Masallı and Layiq regions and said that turning them into tourism centers is one of the main tasks. Noted that all three regions have excellent opportunities for the development of agriculture, stressed the importance of efficient land use. The head of state said that in a number of cases in the capital and in the regions, lands are illegally seized by officials, stressed that the necessary steps are being taken to prevent this. President İlham also touched upon the importance of public oversight for better work in the regions, noting that the recent multi-vector reforms in our country, including the management and personal reforms, demonstrated our policy and intentions to the entire Azerbaijani public. The head of state noted the very great prospects for Azerbaijan and said that in the current situation of Azerbaijan, in a period of rapid development, if any state official does his official duty in bad faith, he will of course be punished. We cannot allow someone to cast a shadow on our successful development, create a nest of bribery somewhere for themselves, and shake the foundations of our state, said President İlham.
President İlham and First Lady Mehriban Aliyeva viewed conditions created at the maternity hospital number 2 in Bakıxanov settlement of Sabunçu district of Baku after major overhaul.
Hoş geldiniz. Hoş geldiniz. The country is taking important steps aimed at developing the healthcare system, strengthening its material and logistical base, human resources, and upgrading infrastructure. The projects implemented in this area at the initiative of the Edo State serve to ensure the reliable protection of people's health. Maternity Hospital No. 2 was built and commissioned in 1987. As a result of long-term operation, a need for a major overhaul arose. In 2019, for the reconstruction of the maternity hospital, repairs began at the medical facility. The overhauled medical institution with 120 beds will provide citizens with both outpatient and inpatient services. Maternity Hospital No. 2, which previously functioned under the Ministry of Health, since 2021 is subordinate to public legal entity Savunchu Medical Center. In our country, the necessary work is also being carried out to protect the health of mothers and children, and important projects are being implemented in this area. The major overhaul of Maternity Hospital No. 2 is another good example of this. In general, in the three-story building of the medical institution, there are 51 chambers, maternity ward, gynecology, resuscitation departments. The new healthcare facilities under construction in Azerbaijan and the modern medical equipment supplied to our country primarily serve one purpose: to fulfill an important mission, such as protecting the health of the population of Azerbaijan. Invaluable merits in this process belong to the Heydar Aliyev Foundation. The protection of the health of the population, in particular of mothers and children, is one of the priorities of the foundation. Measures taken directly on the initiative of the president of the foundation, first vice president of Azerbaijan, Mehriban Aliyeva, are aimed at protecting our genetic material and fundamentally solving problems in the healthcare sector.
Now it's time to discuss the special developments with our special guests. I'm currently joined by international lawyer and political commentator Orhan Amashov. Hey, welcome Orhan, glad to see you again. Today I would like to discuss the Azerbaijan-Armenia peace negotiation process. You know, Pashinyan has been very indecisive again. What does it mean for the revanchist forces in Armenia? I know you've touched upon this before, but can you please elaborate who these revanchist forces are beyond their names, and who are they supported by abroad, and can they disrupt the peace negotiation process?
Yeah, Ilham, we discussed this subject on numerous occasions. It is very clear that Pashinyan is vacillating. He is indecisive. And this revenge subject is still there. There are revenge-driven segments in Armenian society, and revenge is a very strong poison. And it so happens that one who is harboring grievance is immeasurably weaker than one's nemesis. The grudge held is likely to be more damaging to the one who is seeking to avenge. I'm not quoting anybody, it's my own formulation, which I've developed while thinking about different events in the history of human race. And it is applicable to the Azerbaijani-Armenia peace process. Azerbaijan is a victor. Azerbaijan wants to translate the results of ceasefire deal, 10 November trilateral declaration, into the peace treaty, and Armenia vacillates. Armenia does not want to sign up. Armenia does not want to, as they say, stoop to Azerbaijani demands. You asked a very specific questions about the coalition forces. Well, this is, in my view, it is a loose confederation of different forces. They are interconnected. They are not all Armenian patriots worried about the future of Armenia, about Armenian statehood. One portion of this coalition is, of course, in Armenia. These are the remnants of the former Armenian presidents, Kocharyan and Sarkisyan. They are in the parliament. They are funded by different billionaires who are coming from Russia, from different parts of the world. For example, if memory serves me correctly, Ruben Vartanyan, I think, if I'm not making mistakes about his surname, I think he is one of the consequential figures who has invested a lot, and Armenian church church is playing an important role, because Armenian church is essential to the idea of Armenian national ideology. And to my great sadness, and to the sadness of those people who love Armenia in a real sense of the word, this is a very disruptive force, because they are doing something which is very negative for Armenia. That there are forces beyond, of course, Armenia. This is Armenian diaspora. These people are not living in Armenia. They are not affected by the economic hardships. They're sitting in LA or in Paris and talking about great Armenian expansionism is a very easy task, and they're doing it. And these people are earning money from this business. It has become a business from which they're earning money. And there are lots of external factors involved. For example, recently there was an intelligence information which has been leaked to the media, that there are certain external groups which are financing militant groups which may potentially fight in the sovereign Azerbaijani territory. So there are lots of arms suppliers involved, there are lots of mafia-connected groups involved who do not care a straw about Armenia's future, but they're earning money. So this confederation, this coalition is very loose. For example, Robert Cutler believes that certain elements within the Iranian military political infrastructure also involved. I can't comment on that, but he believes that they're also part of this coalition. So imagine this loose confederation of these people who want to reverse the consequence of the Second Karabakh War, and ultimately these people are very powerful. Had they not been powerful, they would not have affected the Armenian political process. Pashinyan is under huge pressure. I think sometimes he exaggerates the extent of the pressure in order to gain some time. For example, if you remember, before the second trilateral Brussels meeting in April, there was a demo in the center of Yerevan, and some people said that it was partly organized by Pashinyan supporters. So Pashinyan is a player. He's not a player of high caliber, but he knows something, he has learned something, and he's also playing his game. But his position is quite weak, his support is weak, and I think that his position is not consolidated enough for him to be able to pursue this line of peace. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that momentum has been slightly slackened, and we need something else to happen. And what else that could be? During the Second Karabakh War, all the wise people across the globe advising our president that peace is the only solution, the military solution is out of the question, OC Minsk Group is essential, and what happened? We know what happened. We did it. And we did it despite all of those self-opinionated people who were telling rot. So for that reason, I think, I hope that Third Karabakh War is out of the question. I sincerely hope so. All normal people, I think, should think in that way. But if you want peace, you need to prepare for a war. I hope war will not happen, but we need to consolidate our position, because it's only force that matters in this sort of matters, in this sort of business.
It is evident that revanchism is self-destructive. If these forces want to protect the honor and the long-lasting interests of the Armenian statehood, shouldn't they be worried about the existential moment?
Of course they should be worried about existential moment, and I'm sure that certain elements within this loose confederation are worried about this existential moment. They believe that peace treaty with Azerbaijan will be the end of Armenian statehood. Some people believe that after the loss in the Second Karabakh War, Armenia is on the verge of losing half of Armenia proper, by which I mean the southern Armenian territory, referred in Armenia as Syunik and referred rightfully by Azerbaijan as Zangezur. But there are those people who are worried, of course, but they are deluded. And when a person is deluded, he is not in a position to judge judiciously, because the best thing for Armenia in their interest is economic survival. Economic survival means peace treaty with Azerbaijan, opening borders with Turkey, economic integration, and then the life will come back to normality. But when a person is deluded, he's not in a position to appreciate those things in the right light. And some other elements in this loose confederation, they are not interested about this existential moment because they care for money. They earn a lot of money. As I've mentioned earlier, there are lots of arms suppliers, there are lots of mafia-connected groups which earn a great deal of money. They train militants, and eventually, for them, it's a profitable business. And whether Armenian statehood will survive or not, it's a secondary question for them. The one thing I want to add at the very end is that there are certain moments in the histories of nations when you have been told that it's over, you lost the battle, you lost the war, your resources are limited. For example, imagine Turkey after the First World War. The empire was lost, almost Anatolia, certain portions of it were lost, Istanbul was under occupation and so on. And some sensible, patriotic Turks were thinking that perhaps treaty with the Allies is the best thing to protect whatever is left of the Ottoman Empire in order to ensure the continuity of the Turkish statehood. They were not treacherous creatures, they were patriots in their own ways, of course, but they did misjudge, of course. Mustafa Kemal was on the right side of history. And somebody in today's Armenia may say that Pashinyan is a defeatist and he doesn't understand the sense of history and he doesn't understand that Armenia must fight on. Or, for example, Britain in 1940, Winston Churchill was the only person who was realizing that Britain was only power standing alone against Hitler's Germany. The Soviet Union wasn't helping in 1940. Americans had Neutrality Act. Lord Halifax, very sensible gentleman of high intellectual caliber, was saying that we need a sensible compromise. So some Armenians may say that, look here, it is our moment. It is our moment of showing that we will not be defeated, and therefore this peace treaty is defeated and we will not accept it. But Armenia's case is different, because both Britain during the Second World War and Turkey after the First World War, they were defending their own country. Turkey was defending its rightful possessions, and Britain back then, despite having an empire, during that struggle, was defending the island. So what I'm effectively trying to say, Armenia, under the pretext of protecting Karabakh, which does not belong to Armenia, is created an image of existential battle for itself, and it is completely wrong. And back to the question about the future of South Caucasus, I recently had a chance to talk to Paul Goebel, the former advisor to the US State Secretary, and one thing is very clear. We Caucasian nations, of course, we neighbors, and one day we will be living, we will have peaceful coexistence. One day, I hope that day will come sooner than one may think. And who will lead this process? And he has told me that Georgia is the way, Armenia is the means, and Azerbaijan is the prize, from the Russians' perspective, for example. This means that, and Svante Kornel, for example, whom I met in Shusha in April, he said that this region is going to transform and unified. What country is capable of doing it because of its political consolidation, internal resources, energy export capabilities, and many other qualities? It is not Georgia, with all due respect to Georgia. It's definitely not Armenia, it's only Azerbaijan. It is Azerbaijan's destiny to unite and lead South Caucasus, and I'm sure it will happen in the fullness of time.
What a note to finish this on. Thank you very much for your valuable insights, Orhan.
It's my privilege to talk to you all the time, Ilham. Thank you very much. I'll see you very soon, hopefully.
Thank you. That was all for the week. Thank you for watching us, and stay tuned not to miss the next edition of our program.